Warning: the following may contain intellect devourers.
Join fantasy authors Phil Tucker, Timandra Whitecastle, David Benem, Benedict Patrick, and Josiah Bancroft as they roll dice and take on the bad guys in a game of Dungeons and Dragons. 5 authors, 5 worlds, 1 adventure. It's time to get crit-faced.
Previously on Crit-Faced. Having been attacked by a pack of animated scarecrows, our heroes respond with enthusiasm. Lord Talfrin uses his fire magic to great effect, decimating the enemy.
So we've got the only 3 that are left are the 3 that are on Kellen. Obviously one of them is heavily wounded, illuminated in fairy fire still. Is that you done?
Oh, that's, I've got a... Yeah, that's me done.
Okay, so Jean, you are frightened at the moment. Now, obviously, the source of your fear, though, has just been destroyed, so that actually negates your fright because the creature is no longer in sight, so you're now no longer frightened. You can see Kellen slightly below you, just basically at the base of your dome. He's fighting off 3 of these scarecrows and doing a very good job of it, actually, because although they're all slashing at him, they haven't been able to touch him. What's your plan, Jean?
I'm going to give him bardic inspiration.
Okay. Excellent.
So just a little extra something, and I'm going to just as my action. Can I? There's really nothing I can do. What's the Eldritch fire thing?
Did you pick an Eldritch bolt?
Yeah. Yes. I'm trying to find a write up on it, but I can't find it. What does that do?
I will find it and read it to you. So it's normally for warlocks, but you've obviously tapped into a vein of magic that's not normally open to you. Blah, blah, blah. So Eldritch Blast, it's got a range of 120 feet. It's just a cantrip. So it says here a beam of, and obviously you can decide what it looks like, but the text version of it is a beam of crackling energy streaked towards a creature within range. You make a spell attack against the target, and if you hit it, the target takes 1d10 force damage. And this spell creates more than 1 beam when you reach higher levels. So because you're past 5th level, you get to do 2 beams, and you can have them at the same target or at different targets, and you do a different attack roll for each of them.
I guess I'll do them both on the one that's healthiest.
Yes, that's healthiest.
Yes.
Okay, so one of the non-illuminated...
Oh, is that dumb? Should I do Is that...
It's up to you.
Yeah, so we'll go with the one that's weakest, because I probably can't actually kill anything with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want to take your first attack roll, and you take it with advantage because you've got fairy fire on this guy?
It's a D5?
No, it's a D20 first to see if you hit.
Oh, okay, yeah. Natural 20.
Oh wow! Okay, so this is our first critical hit in such a long time. I can't. So you
used to ones.
You get to roll your damage die twice. So you get to roll 2 d10s, or just roll a d10 twice.
Okay, d10. I never rolled this dice. What's it look like? Is this a d10? Oh, it looks like a d10.
Okay.
I don't. Yes.
A lot of them have a 0 instead of a 10 on them.
Yeah, this one has a 0, so that counts as a 10?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. You want that.
So twice. And that's a 1.
That's not good.
And that's a 4. So 5.
Okay, so 5 times. Would you like to describe what people see for the first time when you do your first Eldritch Blast?
Yes, it's sort of like when you shuffle your feet across a carpet and new patent leather shoes, and a little tiny blue spark just jumps between your finger and someone's nose. You know, it's like this little just arcing bit of spark.
Okay.
Although it travels many feet, but it's just very small.
Yeah, and it does, and it blasts a hole maybe like right between the creature's eyes. So it's got this sort of patch that just shines through it, but it's still got a bit of oomph left in it. But you've got a second bolt.
I do.
What are you going to do with that?
Same guy. I feel better about this one.
Okay.
12.
Okay. Yes, 12 will hit.
Okay.
So you want to roll your damage, and it's just a 1d10 this time.
Oh, 3 then.
Okay. So again, another
tiny little spark.
Yeah. Absolutely. It sags a bit at the second spark as
yes.
It's very close, but
it's annoyed.
It's still alive. Jean, do you want to move at all?
Sure, I will join my friends on the ground.
Sure. So you sort of slide off the dome.
Yes.
Are you heading more towards Master Sunna, who's more...
Yes,
obviously
Master
to the
Sunna,
left?
yes.
Okay. Kellen, it's your turn. You've got these 3 guys on you. There's one very heavily damaged, illuminated. You've got Bardic Inspiration.
And the inspiration means I...
You just feel good about yourself. I mean, you wake up in the morning, you're singing, you get a D8. Extra D8. An extra D8.
For damage or to hit?
It's to hit, isn't it?
Yes, to hit.
Okay.
And you can use it after you do your roll. So you do a roll and it's a bad roll, you can add a D8 if you want.
And I have advantage on the one that's illuminated,
That's correct, yes.
Okay. First of all, I'm flying into a barbaric frenzy.
Right.
Yeah.
Just spittle spraying out of my mouth, my sinews shuddering, and I unleash the blood spear.
Right.
Ooh.
So we'll say it's a bonus
All right.
action to flip this bad boy into place. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Here we go. I'm going to go for the one that's illuminated first. My first roll is a 25.
Okay, that hits, oddly enough. Would you like to roll your damage?
Sure. 9.
Yeah, 9 damage. Now, you tear a massive gash in this creature's head, and you do notice that this gash is not healed in the same way as the attacks from your axe. But more importantly, would you like to describe how this creature dies?
It kind of like collapses and turns into a neat little straw pile.
Okay. What happens with your blood spear if you kill something with your blood spear?
I get 2d6 hit points.
Okay, so do you want to roll that and
Yes.
get
Oh
your...
gosh. Man. Well, I didn't get much. Okay. I'm a little healthier.
Okay, good stuff. Do you have more to do?
Yes. I'm going to attack the next one.
Okay, go for it. So these 2 are both uninjured.
Okay, and I'm going to... Okay, let's see. 14.
14 will hit.
8 damage.
8 damage. Okay, well done. And again, unlike with your axe, this damage is not healed. Okay, is that you?
And no, I got another attack.
Right.
So it's not dead.
It's definitely not dead. No, it's got a lot of life left in there.
Okay.
These holes that you're poking into it with your blood spear, just not. Don't cut it. Don't
Okay.
punch.
All right. I'm going to use my bardic inspiration.
Yes. Good call.
11.
That just makes it. Well done.
Oh,
Good use of.
And 6 damage.
6 damage. So well done. Yeah, this thing is certainly starting to fall to bits, but it's still got a bit of oomph there. I assume is that you?
That's me.
Right, Master Sunna, you're up. You've just realised that Lord Talfrin has casually stepped out of this dome, and half of your foes have erupted.
Incinerated everyone.
There's 2 left. There's obviously one that Kellen's laid into a little bit. What are you doing?
I'll target the other one.
Okay, the uninjured one.
The uninjured one.
Okay.
And I rolled a natural 20.
Oh wow. Okay, so basically what you get to do is you get to roll your damage die twice.
Okay, so I've got that's 8, and then 8 plus 5 is 13, and then add it together. It's 21.
Sorry, what? So, so your first roll was 8? Is that right?
No, my first roll was because I had a 3 plus 5 radiant.
Yes, you only get to add the plus 5 once.
Okay.
So you get to do the die roll twice, but the plus just gets added once.
Okay, so but that's 8 plus 8 because I rolled the 8 just now. Then that's 16.
Okay, which is still ridiculously impressive. So, but it's still going. But it's had a big, massive radiant hole burned into it. Okay.
Okay. Let's do that again.
Okay. Spending a chi point.
Yes, another one.
Awesome.
That's 18.
18 will hit.
And 4 plus 5 is 9.
Wow. Okay. Excellent. Great rolling. Yeah, this thing is in even worse shape than its colleague. I think maybe we'll say that the last blast sort of opened up its head a bit and the straw starting to fly out of it. But it's still going. So is that your turnover?
That's my turn.
Okay, it's the scarecrows. I mean, these things aren't really alive, but part of them must realise that they don't have much chance left, so they're having to go. Kellen, they're really going to try their best to take lumps out of you. The first one gets 17.
Oh, shoot. Yes, that is.
So it opens you up for 6 slashing damage. Do you want to take a wisdom saving throw to see if you're overcome by the fear of this horrific creature?
I don't need to.
Oh,
at 6th level, mindless rage.
Right.
Cannot be charmed or frightened while raging.
Okay, it's obviously put off by your lack of reaction because it gets a critical miss on its second attack. So the next scarecrow also gets a critical miss. Oh dear. And then it gets 16 versus AC.
That hits.
Yes.
Now I have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage.
So these guys in total should have done 12 slashing damage to you. So just say in total you've had 6 done to you.
Okay.
Okay. That's the end of the scarecrow's turn. Lord Talfrin. There's 2 scarecrows left, just the 2 on Kellen. They're both in bad shape. The one that Master Sunna threw her radiant bolts into is particularly discombobulated.
I will just take out the one on the other one.
Okay, the one it's a bit healthier.
Yeah, so 19 plus 6, 25. That's 2d10 times 2. That's a 10 and a 1. So 11 times 2 is 22 fire damage.
Okay, yeah, and that's... how does it die?
Blast of flaming straw that scatters for miles.
Okay, good stuff. And is that your turn? Or
yes, I blow on my finger.
Okay, Jean, there's one left. It's in really bad shape. Kellen's on it, but it is starting to slash at your friend a bit.
Yes, I'm going to use the Eldritch Spark again.
Sure.
Blast. Eldritch Spark.
Right, go for it.
Here we go. 11.
Yes, will hit.
Okay.
Are you adding your damage, your dice, your magic to that? Did you roll an 11 or did you do your plus?
I rolled an 11. What am I supposed to add in?
I don't know. Whatever your rate, it'll be something like +5 or +6.
+7.
+7. There you go. So you go.
Okay.
You guys
18.
You guys are level 6 now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yes, 18 definitely hits.
I rolled a 9.
Wow.
You just roll it once.
Yeah, just roll it once.
Yep.
But so that was more than a spark this time. You might have been shocked. That was like almost like a mini thunderbolt from your finger there.
Oh, nice.
So this thing, basically, you've left it with this massive hole in its chest, but there are sort of twin pieces of fabric to the left and the right of this hole, just sort of attaching it together. So it's kind of wobbling as it stands. You've got one bolt left. What's your plan?
I will try again.
Okay.
27.
Yes, well hit. Do you want to roll your damage?
Yes.
1 billion.
6.
Right. Do you want to describe how this thing is destroyed by your Eldritch Blast?
Yes, it looks like it has suddenly become stiffened in all of its limbs as they stand out straight in a shocked pose. It quivers, it smokes, and it falls dead in a sort of a lumberish fashion.
Okay. That is the end of the encounter. Congratulations.
Yay!
Lord Telfrin moves over to Master Sunna with concern and says, "You look badly injured. What can we do?"
I did take a bit of damage.
Well, perhaps we should conclude our long rest and heal up.
That would be excellent.
Unfortunately, we can't re-enter the palace once we've exited it. So, are you all right with roughing it here on the ground?
Can you not cast another?
I could. Yes, I could. I was going to just say.
Yes,
what if I
yes.
cast another spell?
Well, I'm glad we're in such competent hands.
Right. I cast another tiny palace.
Good
Just-
man. Good
Just
man.
out of interest, see, the next time that you're in the palace and there's monsters outside the palace, are you planning on going back out to see the monsters again next time? Is that
No.
how things are going to roll?
I thought that there was part of the prophecy that this was a good scarecrow.
I see.
Did he
Helen,
look
Helen?
like a good scarecrow?
Well, Ginny Greenteeth looks terrifying, but she's actually quite nice. And everyone looks scary here. I don't know. All right, I will cast a...
Lord Talfrin has no problem with fighting more scarecrows. He actually quite enjoyed it. It was invigorating.
All right, so I guess I'll cast the tiny palace.
Okay.
Yay.
Good stuff. Guys,
Masasana goes in and throws herself down belly first.
right.
Lord Talfrin, will you take the first watch with me?
No.
Please.
No, absolutely not.
I have questions.
And now my watch is ended. I lie down and go to sleep.
He's just pretending.
I don't think he wants to be my mentor. I mean, I've tried everything. I don't think he likes me. I tried being, and when I was like, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. Oh my God.
Okay, so the rest of the night passes uneventfully, and so you wake up with your health and exhaustion and spell slots all restored.
Yay!
Wow.
Another night survived in Barovia.
Hurrah!
Are we continuing east then, as this
Yes,
was the
we
direction
are.
you were traveling in?
I want to investigate the
Destined to
scarecrow remains a little bit more with another arcana check, see if I can gather
Yes.
any more information about them.
Go for it.
Look for a bald man with a beard.
And with my new die, I am rolling quite well. I got a 21.
Okay. So listen, investigating these first without looking for any arcana. It's just a regular scarecrow. There's nothing inside here that looks like a particular source of magic or anything like that. I mean, you've never made a scarecrow yourself, I imagine, with your nobility, but you've got a big idea. This is just how the commoners would do it back home, if that's the kind of thing that happens back home. You certainly do get a sense of magic, a residual sense of this has been magically animated, but you don't get any clues as to the whereabouts or even the nature of the whoever has created these creatures.
Okay. Do I get a sense on the range of the spell? Like how close that person would have had to have been? Anything on this?
No, certainly not at this point. Like the magical link seems to have dissipated as soon as the creature was killed.
Then I suggest we head east.
Okay, guys, we continue to traipse back down the path. You notice some familiar locations. There's that site where you once saw Master Son of Dead, all that stuff, and then that point actually is the same point as the where you find the signpost that is still lying on the ground after you guys checked that it fit, and of course now that you have a bit more knowledge of the area, you do realize that the southerly path here is the path that points to Barovia. Sorry, not Barovia, to Beres. My mistake.
Yeah.
I'm staring at a map of Barovia as I'm saying this to you. So, okay, so
So no dead people lying around the signpost this time?
There's no dead people this way. I'm
Okay,
afraid.
well
Sorry to disappoint you.
Well, then let's continue.
Okay. So there's a river here, guys, and this trail. Now, this is a bit more like the path that led off to Yester Hill, because this is not as well travelled as the Sphalic Road at all. And in fact, actually, the further down that you travel, the less the less it seems to have been used because it looks like it's quite overgrown. It really is just this pathetic dirt path. So this trail is right beside a river that's running south from the asphaltic road as well, and the trail sort of hugs the river for quite a few miles. And then the environment around you changes. You've walked out of this forest land that you were in, where you fought the scarecrows last night, and the grass and dirt around you starts to turn into marsh, and the trail starts to dissolve into spongy earth, and there's tall reeds around, pools of stagnant water, and of course just this persistent fog covering all of it. As you keep walking down, guys, the bits, the trees of the forest that you've been in, fade, and eventually, after a few hours of travel, they sort of open out into this wider area. So scattered throughout the marsh in front of you here, guys, are old peasant cottages. The walls are covered in black mildew. It looks like the roofs pretty much caved in, and these decrepit buildings look as if they've long since given up on escaping the mud, and looks almost as if they're sinking into the marsh about them. Everywhere you look, guys, there's black clouds of flies darting about, and soon you feel them latch onto you and start to suck at your blood. The fog here, guys, is much thinner on the far side of the river. So you guys are traveling south. So the river is just on your left, basically, as you're travelling down the road. And the fog's much thinner on the other side of the river. And there's a light flashing off to the southeast amid a dark ring of standing stones. So basically, where you guys are now, to your direct south, are these decaying peasant cottages. However, off to the southeast, from where you guys are, is where there's this flashing light coming from these standing stones.
Could I roll an Arcana check to see if it's the magical flashing light?
Okay, go for it.
No, an 8.
Sorry?
Yeah, I got an 8. So
Oh, right, okay. No, you certainly don't get any sense of any magic at all.
I turn to my companions and I say, "Oh, what say you? Shall we see if our writ would be observed here in this little village, or investigate what looks quite possibly like a lure?"
Well, the village looks very run down. Does it actually look inhabited?
Oh, no, definitely not. No, the cottages are sinking into the marsh, basically, and the roofs are all caved in. I mean, they look like abandoned buildings. Obviously, you're quite on the outskirts still, so the fog is distorting most of your view. So you'd have to obviously head further in to get a closer look. However, if you wanted to investigate this flashing light, this would basically you don't have to go into the village to do that. You just have to cross over the river instead to head up to the flashing light.
I'm gonna just take a general look around, see if I notice anything hidden. A 13 plus a 15. Pick up any new details?
No, not at all. I mean, to be honest, you're just really distracted by these swarms of flies as they continue to feed on you. The river, you can see, it sort of varies along its length, but you can see it's not particularly deep. I mean, maybe there are some sections in it that are 10 foot deep, but that's it. It certainly doesn't seem as if it would be too difficult to cross. As you get a wee bit closer to the village, you realise it must be some sort of village green situation that's going on, because you've got the northernmost buildings of the village are the first ones that you noticed, but then you can see that there's others further off to the south. There seem to be as well, though, some figures standing in the middle of this village green area, but again, you're too far away to be able to make them out at the moment.
But maybe they're just like stones, because I mean, no one would actually live in those houses.
They could well be stones.
Okay.
It's really just the silhouettes, vague silhouettes that you can see right now.
Or more scarecrows.
This being Ravenloft, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the remains of executed innocence or something ghastly.
Mm.
What say you? Should we check out this flashing light or do a more circuitous approach through the village?
Sort of, I'm hesitant that it looks that the river looks so easily traversable. It's like that's I don't know.
Right up until you sink into its depth.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, I swim quite well, but I'm not sure. I don't want to speak for everyone.
Well, I say we go and we investigate those people in the green.
Perhaps they are people.
Yes, and if they are, I'd like to learn a little bit more about the situation before charging into the obviously magic and dangerous standing stones.
Yes. Good idea.
What say the rest of you?
Yes, I...
Okay, I think maybe we've lost Kellen at the moment. So we'll move further. So move a bit further south towards the closest of the cottages. Now, before you even get a chance to look at the cottages, these figures come into view standing in the green. Now, there's 3 of these figures that you can make out from where you are. Some of the cottages are obscuring your view, and certainly the closest to you look like, as you mentioned earlier, scarecrows. These seem to be planted in the marsh, just standing still, looking very similar now to the ones that attacked you last night, but otherwise unmoving. There are the cottages that are at the very north of the village, the first ones you come into contact with. There's just the 3 of them there. I mean, they're total ruins. They're unconnected we've got wee stone walls connecting them, but the roof's fallen in. The floor is just dirt on mud and marsh. There's nothing to them, basically.
What do you think about my just incinerating those scarecrows from over here?
I think that's a very good idea.
Yes, John?
I don't object.
All right. I roll up my sleeves and I just let them have it with fire bolts at a range of 120 feet until they're destroyed.
Okay, so you're shooting at the scarecrows?
Oh, yes. I'm unleashing a barrage. Having some fun with it, too. Like shots from behind the back, under the leg.
Okay.
Remember, look to the scarecrow, not to the garden.
Okay. As you fire off your first bolt of fire, the scarecrows, of course, begin to animate, and they pull themselves down from their posts and move across the village green to begin to attack you.
Crit Faced is a weekly Dungeons & Dragons podcast. To make sure you never miss an episode, and to get an exclusive prequel episode of the podcast, where you can find out what our characters were up to before this adventure began, head over to critfacedpodcast.com and join our Crit Faced fan group.